Broadcasting live from upstate New York, a technology talk show that puts you and your questions first. It's Tech Talk Live.
Yeah, baby, it's Tech Talk Live, coming to you live from upstate New York. I'm Flipper.
I'm Snide.
And I'm JJ.
We're in the great Studio B, 3 floors down.
Also known as...
Now, everybody has questions. What happened to last week's show? Oh, that Storm Sandy come in and blew the sound away, and we couldn't resynchronize it with the video, and we had all sorts of problems.
You got more excuses than Carter's got liver pills.
Well, I might as well report like the news reporter saying, oh, you got a big surge down there, and they're only in ankle-deep water, you know?
Is that what it is?
Yeah. I had to laugh at that.
Hey.
So.
Hey, wait.
But anyway, Sandy didn't kill us anyway.
Not up here, anyhow. We had nice, easy rides up here for the most part.
Sandy went on through and come right up through Harrisburg and right between us and Buffalo and right on up through to Hudson Bay up there, and it sat up there for 2 days. I got to look again to see where it is because, like I said, we're getting some awful cold, brisk wind out of that. You know, it's really cold. It's not the 40 degrees that you usually. It's bitter, bitey cold.
Yeah.
So that's the weather report.
Brought to you live on location from Tech Talk Live.
So if you have a question, computer problem, or want to talk about technology like we do, give us a call at
315-220-0692 or
check us out on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/Tech Talk Live. Like us.
Yeah. And Flipper says I talk too much, and now it's my turn to shut up and let him go with the show.
No, you don't have to let me go with anything. I'm actually kind of sitting back. Oscar's definitely in the house.
Yeah.
That is so weird. He's just like, baby's got back.
Yeah, give him one of them clams or oysters that blew up here on the sands.
Right, absolutely. So I don't know. I mean, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. I mean, we can talk about anything.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that obstacle course. Why didn't you have lights on them? I almost stepped in one of the cans up on the floor as I come in.
Up on the second floor of Studio B.
I didn't see them.
Flip side.
Cans.
Flip Studio.
I'll have to go
the dishes for the cat food.
Oh, okay, yeah, the obstacle course. Yes, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh well, cats have got to eat.
Anyway.
So what do you want to talk about? Your stuff, my stuff, or continue?
I don't care. I kind of like the idea of bending light. That kind of sounded fun.
But we could go with the things about technology and voting like we discussed yesterday and Friday.
Well, it is coming up. Yeah, Tuesday's coming up. Super Tuesday.
So, quick. Sandy's out of the question. Now we got an election that's coming up. Technology and computing. And from what I've read in some of the headlines, that they were having problems with the voting machines in Marion, Ohio, and some in North Carolina. Now, what this was that they were punching for one nominee and getting another. Mm-hmm. And if you weren't paying attention, that vote would have went for the other one, the opposite one that you wanted to vote for. So anyway, they complained to the Board of Elections about it,
or Election Commission, depending on what state you're in.
Well, they complained to both. And anyway, I guess from what I understand, that they recalibrated the machines. And 2 hours later, people were still having the same problems.
Right. Most likely what's wrong is the ballot. If we want to talk about like electronic voting machines, okay.
This is touch screens now that we're talking about.
You're talking about touch. Well, I'm talking about electronic voting. Like New York State adopted to have electronic voting, and electronic voting in New York State is all done by a paper ballot. But this is touch screen that we're talking. Yeah, you mark the circles and then it scans it in. As far as touchscreens go, I think one of the big inherent problem with touchscreens is that, any type of voting, we know it's partially blind faith. Once you cast your vote, you have to have some blind faith that it's going to go to the right place. It's going to get counted properly. And I think that's where a lot of people, especially the people on the blog spheres and stuff like that are really having the issue right now with electronic voting and saying that, this is just going to be this and that and the other, and they're just complaining and they're not really bringing any facts to the table, is the fact that, they're just starting to realize that all this time, ever since we started voting, there was a sense of blind faith that we just kind of inherently accepted.
Right.
You know, we inherently accepted that going into those big mechanical booths, pulling that lever, and then going chink, 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 the votes were always counted right.
Right.
Now that it's electronic, everybody's like, oh, hackers and this, that, and the other, and now we got to, you know, blah, 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 blah. Most of it ain't hackers. Usually it's human error. Mostly it's human error. And
why is it mostly human error?
Mostly why is it human error?
Yeah.
Well, think about it. If you're programming the ballot, saying you're the vendor programming that ballot, right? And you happen to maybe not put in the right ID number or something for a particular candidate, when you see it on screen, the human element is, you know, vote for Brock or vote for Mitt. You know, I mean, those are your two buttons, and they're big on screen.
Right. So you're just really trying to say that to err is human.
To err is human.
And humans program these computers.
Yeah,
really.
humans do program these computers. It's just like the old voting machines back in 70, 79, 78, 79.
Yeah, well, they used to.
Florida had a huge conspiracy on one of the votes there, and I can't remember if it was a school vote or something else. But the person who was doing the mechanics of that big machine put the wrong lever in the wrong spot, so when they went to go tabulate and get the tabulation, it was skewed by, you know, 20-30%, because when you flipped the lever, it wasn't flipping the right thing.
And the people knew at that time that how the vote was going to come out because they didn't want it.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so that's how that got misconstrued. But like you said, in blind faith, who did what, how.
Right.
So then they find the error, and, well, you can't have a re-election. You can't have
technically,
a
you can have a revote. You can have a recount.
You can have a recount, but you can't have a revote.
Well, why would you have a revote if it's a recount? If it's a recount, and all the problem is you know that this was a problem here, and it's something that can just be take these beans from this pile and put it in these beans in that pile. There's no reason to go have another revote. If it's something where, like you were talking about earlier, where, you know, it's two candidates on a screen, okay,
right.
and the beans, all the beans go to one candidate, you know.
Yeah.
You would have to have a revote. There's no shot in heck that you can't have a revote, or you got to throw out the entire race. Now, is that going to really make that much of a difference on a small local level? Not really.
Wouldn't make a hill of beans, right?
What really wouldn't make a hill of beans? Think about it. I mean, if Seneca County had to throw out all their votes for whatever candidate in a national race,
but then they're denied. The people are denied their right to vote.
Well, technically, you're denied the right to. Well, it's not that you're denied the right to vote, but I mean, technically, the Electoral College puts in our president.
Right.
So.
I've always said that anyway. It isn't a popular vote because the popular vote tells the Electoral College, you know, just what they're doing.
But that's not what they do.
But the Electoral College is supposed to be putting someone in, or so that the people don't make that dastardly mistake, you know, that electing the wrong person.
So the question comes down to, is there really such a thing as electing the wrong person, or are we always electing the wrong person?
Well,
you know, I mean, I don't want to get into the theory on this.
I'm just going to roll dice and wish for snake eyes, you know?
You got to understand, you got to understand the whole government, as opposed to, well, he's the president and he's going to do this and that and the other. Well, you got Congress, the House of Representatives, and
the judicial system.
Senate.
Oh, okay. I was thinking the judicial system.
Well, the judicial now is only for making legal decisions on something that's being challenged.
Well,
in a court of law.
Well, they're supposed to be the interpretation of those laws. Yes.
So. But
like
now we're getting
card.
back.
Yeah.
Now we're getting away from.
But the electronic voting. Back to electronic voting. Yeah. So anyway, like with your whole idea of touchscreen, you know, you go up to a touchscreen voting machine and you hit boom or boom, okay, and the program's supposed to automatically detect whether you hit both at the same time, or, you know, all these different error things. Well, how many things can possibly go wrong with that?
Well, let's say a touchscreen.
Yeah.
Candidate A is this big on there, and candidate B is only this big on there. So when you touch, even though the name goes out, you touch there and it goes to that guy instead of touching the middle
that's
of the
very
screen.
possible
Right.
too.
Do you
but-
understand that that's however you program that thing in?
Right. So again, I think it's back to errors to human. I mean, that's why we have a Democrat and a Republican commissioner, at least up in New York State. I'm pretty sure it's the same way nationally. But you always have two-party system that goes and watches and oversees these test votes. So, like, a good example, because, I mean, I think we can probably talk a little bit better about upstate New York here.
Right.
I'm pretty sure what happens is that the machines are all calibrated according to the type of ballot that's going to be used this time around. And then when the commissioners sign off on it, they've tested it for every which way but Sunday, because these test stacks are big. They're, 100, 200, 300, 400 votes.
Well, they haven't accepted my napkin that I voted down to Connie, so I voted on the Connie's and I put my napkin in there and it didn't.
That doesn't count.
Yeah.
That doesn't count. You can burn that.
Paper jam.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
But,
Does that napkin smell funny to you?
Right.
Anyway.
but you understand what I'm saying. The thing of it is now you put it on our machines in New York State,
Yeah.
which is a paper.
It's a paper scanner.
Scanner, ballot, electronic.
And then the only time that you get the touchscreen piece is for the hearing impaired, visual impaired, physically impaired.
That comes me
handicap,
in
as
on
some
all
say.
three.
I still want my 52-inch flat screen where I can just touch wherever when I want.
I don't
Got
think
all the
50?
proposals on.
I
the
don't like that idea.
All the proposals on it.
52
Icons, you
inch.
just touch whatever icon I want.
I saw.
Behind closed curtains.
Oh, all right.
I saw. I think
Maybe
it's is it California? Yeah, I think California is the one that has that interactive screen, kind of like South Carolina and Ohio. And the interactive screen piece is really neat in the sense that it only gives you one race at a time to consider. Okay, so you get proposal one, and say proposal one is
I want Beverly as our dog catcher.
right. Okay, so we could do that. Beverly,
Shout out to Beverly.
yeah, Beverly Animal Shelter, right? Okay.
Oh, Dalen.
Ooh.
Dalen. She runs Beverly's. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right.
Anyhow,
The owner operator.
operator. Okay. So the first thing is this proposal. It says proposal one, and you literally go through kind of like what is the thing that I can compare it to? Like an online survey. You know how they only give you one or two questions to consider at a time, and it's like, boom, this is race one. Do you want this proposal or not? And the yes or no buttons are there. Okay.
Push no. Go ahead.
Okay. Push no.
Maybe.
I really wish they would come up with a maybe idea. That'd be fun.
Undecided,
Undecided, right? So, but there's kind of my point is that okay, fine, okay, there is a no,
Pew,
right?
pew,
Pew
pew.
pew, right? No.
Right.
So proposal one's no. It flips the screen to the next question. I think that gives the programmers the ability to segregate the questions better. It also gives the voter
Instead of having a full screen
Right,
and trying to touch
what
one
you
or the other
want,
one.
right?
Yeah.
Because I mean that all you're doing then is doing the paper ballot. You might as well just do the paper ballot.
But when you
You got
get
bigger
out-
icons though with a bigger TV, so it would be
But-
easier, less errors.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know if it'd be less errors. Holy cow!
Like I say, when you get on Facebook, make sure you punch the button. You like us.
Like us on
Yes.
Facebook.
Give us a call. Let us know what you think
Give us-
about what we're talking about. 315-220-0692.
Or email us. We can have email questions, techtalkliveny@gmail.com.
Yes, I love emails. Emails are fun because then we can actually do whatever you want to talk about. But back to the whole electronic voting thing and about human error in programming. You got to remember that step one with this is that somebody has to take and evaluate the race, okay, and then determine what the questions really are and what are the answers. So right there is the first step of human error that could possibly come up to that. And then when you get into the actual programming of these machines, how many ways can the person going in to vote create a human error? There's probably a ton. Like somebody who has a lazy finger, instead of a lazy eye, they got a lazy finger, and they go bloop, and then they pull off the button. what happens? Is that supposed to be counted or not counted?
It's a hanging chad, ain't it?
Right. It's the same concept.
Exactly.
It's the same concept.
But you follow what I'm saying. Here we go with the hanging chad or something. How did that hanging chad get in there?
Right.
If the other one was punched out and voted too, you know?
Right.
How did that hanging chad get there if the other one was
Gets
punched?
deleted.
But
Happens.
anyway,
It
the
should get
lazy,
deleted, right?
Right.
the lazy finger you punch and scroll down. On,
It should come up with an error message. We didn't understand your vote. Please
Right.
vote again.
Right.
You
Have
know?
a nice day.
Right. So I don't know. I think I think the paper ballot, even though you're still using paper and it costs more and everything else by the end of the day, I do like the way Seneca in New York State has done it, where you take a paper ballot, it's barcoded, and every race is barcoded accordingly. Once that scanner is calibrated and has gone through a test deck of every possible error that they can come up with, typically speaking, there is no question that your vote is going to go where it's supposed to go.
No question that your vote is going nowhere it's supposed to go.
Is that what I said? Yeah. No, your vote's going to go where it's supposed to go.
Go where it's supposed to go.
Right.
I just said nowhere.
No. It's going to go where it's supposed to go.
But anyway, even though it's paper, it goes in a bin, and now all of a sudden we have a recount. I need a recount. Now you can't on electronic machines really get a good recount, can you?
Yeah, because if you're
Rescan the paper.
Well, no, you don't rescan the paper. Actually,
No?
what it does is it gives you the same. It's the same thought process as the old machines. The recount for the old machines was a roll of paper in the back that just punched holes in positions. Right. Okay, same concept with these ballots. When you scan these ballots, they go into a bin that's secured.
But I said compared to the touch screen, is that paper? The touch, the touch screen is or is that there's no. I don't know of any physical way that you could do a recount like with the paper. The paper goes into a bin. That's but
locked.
Anybody got any ideas or knows about this? Give us a call and let us know about it. Is that touchscreen got a recount type system?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there is.
Should cast a vote and print something off for you in the Board of Elections.
That might be what it does.
There you go.
But while we asked that,
but it still doesn't. It still doesn't fix your thought process of a good recount.
Right. Exactly. I don't know.
Because I mean, if you have a human error situation, or you have okay, here's the button for Barack and here's the button for Mitt, or whatever you want to say. I don't care how you want to say it. But, and you touch Mitt, and technically it touches Barack. How are you supposed to fix that? How are you supposed to... that's why I can't understand some of those news articles you were saying the other day. I'm trying to figure it out in my head how this really would be possible.
But the screen come up after she voted. Mm-hmm. And your vote is this, and then you touch yes to confirm it.
Oh, so it gives you a confirmation screen
of all your votes.
Okay, so so there is no such thing as a recount with those machines, but it gives you a it's up to the voter themselves to actually look.
Beware.
Yep, look at that.
Are you sure this is what you want?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the Microsoft syndrome. Are you sure you want to delete this? Yes.
But anyway, down there, and then you either cancel or accept.
Right. So want to express to everybody, make sure to get out and vote. I'm going to make sure I get out and vote this year. I'm
gonna write mine on the sidewalk outside.
There you go.
So it's counted.
Vote no.
Vote no.
On what proposal?
Yeah, what proposal are you talking about?
Vote no on the extra money for 911.
Hey
now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play.
You see what I'm saying? When you go and touch somebody like that,
right?
Yeah, Verizon reach out and touch someone. Okay. Jesus,
I can hear you now.
We're doing too many of these commercials and not getting paid for it.
Well, that's okay. We're going to be doing 3 commercials at break time that we're not getting paid for, but that's okay.
Anyway, let's say all these votes are going through a coiled
segue.
Coiled beam of light sends 100 terabits per second through the air.
I really wanted to get on this because Snide's bending light all of a sudden. We thought he only bended air.
Well,
right. Lots of it.
This is coils of light, 3 different sizes of coils of light. So 100 terabits. And we got discussion yesterday about a bit's a byte or a byte's a bit?
Yeah, right. A bit is the smallest unit of data, period. 1 or a 0.
But we go down and we start talking about that, and we lose everybody because they don't know how that computer started out.
Right.
Used to have 8 chunks of it in a byte. Each one was a bit.
Yep.
0 or 1 or 0, 0, 0, 1.
Right.
And then when you read that in a hexadecimal form,
Yep.
see, and then you could
it
read
reduced it down to two characters, which was alphanumerical.
Right.
Yep.
So then you get them, and you get up to
Decimal.
a K.
Right.
How much, or even 1K? How much is 1K?
1K, 1 kilobyte.
1K of material is 1024.
Right. 1024.
Not 1,000. It's 1024 in the computer world, right?
It's 1,024 bytes.
Bytes.
Right.
Yes.
That's what I just said.
Yes.
No, you said 1024. I'm like, whoa.
10,
Oh, that's what I meant, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what he meant.
1024 is 1,024.
Right.
1,024.
So anyway,
We got.
I got me an education.
It's not as educated.
well, it's like
Sorry, go ahead.
like 2K now. It's 2012.
Oh shoot.
But anyway, getting back to that. Now.
Well, actually, the magic number going up is usually multiply by 1,024 gives you a full one of anything.
One of anything.
So
but now
as
you
you go
multiply
up,
that times 1,024 times 1,024.
That's a meg.
What? Is a meg.
A meg, yes.
Now you go up into a gig and you multiply all that by 1024.
Where are we going with this anyway?
But I'm just saying.
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out where we're going.
We're bending light. We were bending light here.
We got to get back to bending light.
But we were trying to get
A terabit, a terabyte,
terabyte.
byte
I
or
think
bit.
Snide's camera needs to go up a
bits.
little bit. What do you think?
Terabits.
I don't know. I think we're I think we're enjoying just looking at his chest. It's all good.
Oh, I'm getting off the camera, am I?
No, you're fine. Just you're cut off right at your hat.
Oh, I'm too high?
Yeah.
Must be the camera.
Yeah, the camera got knocked probably. Right there you go. Beautiful.
Oh, there you go. Beautiful.
Oh,
He is
you
hot
see
all
the-
of a sudden. Look at that garbage.
It looks like the camera was down.
Right. Anyhow, but okay. So is it a
but we're getting-
terabyte or a terabit that we're talking about?
Terabits.
Terabits. Okay.
Bits. So then you're going 1024 again, which would be, it gets humongous. And then 100 times that. See, we're going to
sorry.
giga, and then what was the other one in between there? In between terabit,
nanobyte?
giga, and tera.
Giga and tera. Next one up from tera is peta.
All right, I thought peta was in there. One of them was
No.
in between them.
No, it's mega, giga, tera.
Tera. Okay, that's.
Peta.
But like I said, that's a lot of information, and then you have 100.
Right. Well, the
Times
current.
that.
Well, let's do the current technology. The current technology is a pipe of light. Okay.
Yeah.
And as you shoot light, it's a single bit, fink, and it goes through. Right.
Right.
So that's one bit that goes through in less than a nanosecond.
And then here the article says, by twisting the light beams, engineers could produce the fastest internet ever.
Right, because what they're going to do, if I think I know this right, instead of having it shoot straight, okay, they're going to twist it
Coil.
so it goes around, so you can actually in one segment, like if you had a cross segment of one segment of glass and fiber, okay, so there it is, okay, you're going to have the outside beam, which is 1 bit. You're going to have a middle beam that's 2 bit, 3 bit, 4 bit, 5 bit, however many bits they can shove in there, okay? And they're
that
all
one
going to
little-
travel. This is quantum computing right here.
All less
like a
than a
quantum leap.
hair.
Pretty much.
All less than a hair size.
Right. All those bits would travel down the pipe at the same time, at the same moment at the same second, and at the other end receiving it would be able to unscramble those.
Like, look at all this.
Holy
Right.
cow.
All this information coming
Wait a minute, this here is the
It's
wrong,
screaming,
wrong
"Wow,
coil. I
slow
got to get
down."
to the other coil. Okay.
but that's what's going to happen is that's the whole point of quantum anything is taking and shoving more and more, like quantum computing, quantum CPUs is trying to
Well,
get it to
CPUs,
compute
right.
the same
Pew, pew.
the same bit. The same bit has to exist at the same time at the same moment of time, and be processable. I had it right.
Careful on the processable.
Hello, I am selling
So-
bits.
So anyway, today for the speediest broadcast, fiber optic cables
Did you just hear what he just said?
Yep, go ahead.
broadband. I'm sorry. Fiber optic cables transmit information in pulses of light. Since the early 2000s, physicists have been working on to make the data travel faster by bouncing light off the liquid crystals to twist it.
Right.
So
put a little liquid crystal in there, break it apart, throw it into a twist, and you've got quantum
I got one more
computing.
sentence for it, and it says several coiled beams can nest within one another and move through the same space at the same time.
Quantum computing.
There you go.
That's the definition of quantum computing.
Add heat and you're good to go.
I was thinking add water, but
All right. Bring to a boil and
and voila, you have quantum computing.
All right, the equivalent of that in University of Southern California, can't go to the University of Northern California, 100 terabits equals 100 terabits,
Equals what?
the equivalent of 2,600
I've been drinking too much.
DVDs per second through the air. That's a lot of,
it's a lot of information.
There.
boy, that's a lot of CDs to compress down.
You know,
the
I want to
throat.
just make one statement. I want to make one statement to all those idiots, and I'm sorry that I'm being so negative because you know me, I'm usually typically not this negative, but all those stupid idiots, Egmos, if you want to call them that.
Egmos.
That sat there and said, the internet's running out. There's only so much bandwidth. There is only so much bandwidth, but it's bandwidth per second. So saying you got a pile of logs, right? And it's 100 megabits. You take off of it in 1 second, you lose it, right? The next second, it's back. It's renewable. Nobody got that in those articles like 2-3 years ago where they were claiming the internet was going to crash. Right there in your face, there's proof that it's going to come back.
Well, we need to, sorry about that, we need to increase the size of the internet, the bandwidth, so that we can push more through it. Well, here's the whole thing of it is how much can you push through a fiber optic? And this is only just scratching the surface.
Right.
You got more and more that they're going to be able to push through them
Right.
fibers. One fiber of the size of a hair, less than a hair. One fiber.
950 nanometers.
And they are pushing more and more through them fibers. I'm wondering if those beams will ever ricochet off the wall and go jump hairs.
Nice.
Crosstalk. Anyway, it's time for break, ain't it?
I do believe so.
Okay.
Hey, you're listening to Tech Talk Live. I'm Flipper.
I'm Snide.
And I'm JJ.
And we'll be right back after these brief messages.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. Brain.
Why did I move here? I guess it was the weather. Or I don't know, that thing, that magic. You see it in the movies. I wanted to retire from what I was doing, you know? From that line of work. Be a good guy for once, a family man. So, I bought a big house, came here, put my feet up, and thought I'd be a dad like all the other dads. My kids would be like the kids on TV. We'd play ball and sit in the sun, but, well, you know how it is.
Brain, brain. 5 bits. 5 bits. Brain, brain. 5 bits. 5 bits. Brain, brain. 5 bits. 5 bits. Brain, brain. 5 bits.
We are waiting for this past 2 years, so this is a big event for all of us.
Windows 8, it's going to be my tool to create something visual. Welcome to the Windows 8 preview.
Ni hao. It is such an honor to be here in China to participate in the launch of Windows 8.
What do you guys say? Should we start the clock?
We're the people with the smile on the box. We're the reinventors of normal. So when we bring you a new Kindle Fire, you should know that normal is going to change again. With an HD screen, HD camera, and dual speaker Dolby sound. And 22 million movies, TV shows, songs, apps, books, and more. Hey Normal, take that. The all-new Kindle Fire HD.
And we're back.
JJ,
Yeah, we're back. Waiting for a flipper.
Anyway,
we're back.
I'm gonna move.
Okay, I gotta move. Move a little faster.
I know.
There we go.
Much faster. I had to go get my.
Oh, that's what I see was wrong with us. Oh man,
What?
we're up a little too loud, aren't we?
No,
I
why?
don't know how I did.
An echo.
Move that up.
An echo.
Maybe.
Did I move that to up?
let's
Speakers.
try. Speakers, maybe. I don't know.
Did I move those up too high?
Where? Yes. Way
Yeah.
too high.
There
we go.
Holy cow! We're back with Tech Talk Live.
And you're?
I'm Flipper.
I'm Snide.
And I'm JJ.
Yeah, we got everything running.
I think we got everything running. So,
Okay, now what we going on?
I don't care. Whatever you want to go on to. You want to go on to the hybrid drive, or you want to talk a little bit about
Hybrid
emergency?
drive.
Well, I can talk about the nanotubes.
Oh,
Make it
nanotubes, I
quick. We'll
forgot.
do nanotubes real quick.
Oh, you want to do that, or you want to go to something else?
No, we'll do nanotubes.
Anyway,
real
give us a
quick.
call, 315-220-0692.
Yes.
Like us on Facebook.
Like us.
Give us a call. Come on, give us some questions
But
here.
Anyway, I see why that's off. Why my camera was off. That's tilted down this way and over that way. We'll take
Yeah.
care of it.
Someday.
But anyway, let's see. IBM transistors made of nanotubes could replace silicon. Silicon.
Either way.
In ever tiny computer chips. So in other words, we're going to nanotubes, which can be really shrunk down a lot further than transistors.
Right.
Transistors were shrunk quite a ways. So
So nanotubes are the size of what?
A pea.
Wow.
He's a little guy.
How many molecules across by how many molecules?
I didn't find that part out.
I believe
that
that it's 1/1000th of what the current transistors are. Correct? That sound about right?
I don't even see anything in the article here of any kind of
size mentioned
of that.
So anyway, they're talking about shrinking the transistors, basically the 1s and 0 gates on CPUs, so that they can fit more transistor gates and more logic gates onto a CPU. Right?
Yeah.
All right.
Which makes what?
Which makes it faster.
Exactly.
So they can process more bits per second. So we'll go from what are we? The highest one right now is what? The commercially available is like what? 3.2 gigahertz multi-core?
Gigs, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so you might as well multiply. If they get the nanotube technology to commercial production and it's affordable, you'll see 3 gigahertz go from 3 gigahertz to well over 100 gigahertz almost overnight.
And you'll be able to watch 3D TV on your laptop.
You can do that now.
Because it'll go faster.
Oh, okay.
Your video card will be won't be
that would be
Vita.
Right.
It would be something else.
Right. It would be something else. Somebody got computers with recoils.
Yeah.
But they'd be nano recoils. Ugh.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Fast, huh?
Mufasa. Do it again.
Mufasa. I miss the Lion King. Hey, could you believe that? Could you believe? Speaking about Lion King and Disney, did you see the whole thing about Disney taking over LucasArts and taking over the Star Wars franchise?
LucasArts is selling it because of taxes.
Right.
Not the other way around. What you're trying to say?
Well, I thought Disney was buying it.
Disney is buying.
Disney is buying it, but who's got the rights to it is LucasArts, which is selling it.
Oh, right.
Right.
So I don't care why they're selling it at this point. I don't.
And Star Wars 7 is coming out.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if I'm really thrilled about that.
I am. I
Mickey
can't wait.
Mouse and Donald Duck and all of them playing the Star Wars characters. That'd be good. Oh, that isn't?
No,
7?
that wouldn't be good.
That isn't 7.
I don't know what 7's doing.
Oh, what's
coming out with Star Wars 7? And then
if I remember the whole series correctly, 7 is immediately after the death of the Emperor and Darth Vader, and then they take him into. They take him into the Sith Wars, I think, is what it is.
Yeah, Leia stumbled her foot and
Princess Leia.
She ended up and got married. What's his name there? And they had a kid around, and now he's going to come up and be better than
Peter. Lucas. Where are you? Call me. Tell me what we're talking about here. 315-220-0692 or Smith. Where's Smitty? Yeah. I don't know where Smitty is.
Well, He's gone off to review the beta version of Star Wars.
Probably. I don't know. I have mixed emotions about this only because, I mean, Disney has quite a few good studios like Pixar and a couple other ones that are under their license. Right. Now they're going to have LucasArts on it as well.
But like I said, that Disney was going to create a Star Wars film with Mickey Mouse and all them characters, you know.
I hope not.
But that's
anyway.
Well, that's
I think they're coming out with Star Wars 7, and then there's talk for a series of tomorrow, 8 and 9, right afterwards, by 2020.
Yeah, it's supposed to, we did the first 3, we did the second 3. Now we're going to do the last 3 to finish the series that LucasArts really.
My best buddy in Star Wars was Yoda.
Yoda.
He's the smart one.
I like you.
May the Force be with you, son.
I wish I could do an impersonation of Yoda. I'm not very good at it.
Anywho.
Eat cornflakes, you will.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Isn't that what it is? Yeah. Okay.
And then you get a Yoda in there.
A Yoda bite.
Yeah, a Yoda bite now.
All right, now we're going to relate it back to technology. I love
that was Yoga Bite, wasn't it?
Yeah, Yoga Bite.
Yoga Bite.
I forget who it was. This morning somebody was talking about hot yoga. I can't remember who it was, but it was on my Facebook page. But that was funny. I'm like hot yoga. Man, that sounds like it'd be like it would go bad or something.
That could be interesting,
right?
But anyway, did we shut you up or anything?
No, I think you were going to hop on the hybrid hard drives.
I could real quick. I mean, this is a nice quick one to kind of talk about hybrid hard drives, how they work and why they matter. The big thing about hybrid hard drives, I'm not even gonna look at the article because I don't like reading things. We all know that hard drives, hard drive manufacturers came out with solid state hard drives. They've proven the fact that solid
SATA was faster.
SSDs, solid state. solid state drives.
Well, I thought it was SATA hard
SATA.
drives.
SATA, PATA. Those are all the different technologies of how it gets from the hard drive to the actual computer. They're still SATA, so the link's still serial. Okay, but solid state SSD drives, solid state drives, basically store everything on non-mechanical chips, just like a flash drive. But they're super fast reading hard drives. Not very good at writing. Not very good at the read-write piece.
The store
piece. Once it's stored, it can read it extremely fast. So that's why solid states have been really hot on like gamers and people that are looking for performance boosts. And what you do is you build your OS on these solid state hard drives. And man, they kick along super fast. You can boot Windows in less than 4 seconds. Okay? It's like literally the BIOS gets done, you're in Windows within a couple, 3-4 seconds. Boom. Ready to go.
Nice. Instead of my minute and a half now.
Right. So that's where solid state has come in, and people have gotten really hot on this topic. Well, hard drive manufacturers took their cue and decided to start building what they call hybrid drives, which blends standard or traditional hard drives with platters and actuator arms and read and write heads, and have put in a solid state piece for the OS piece. So when you say, okay, I got 2 drives in one, and then I put my OS on one part of that drive, which would be the solid state, get your performance boost, and then your typical storage would then sit on the standard hard drive that spins.
Okay, now with all this laser and everything, can I put my Thanksgiving turkey on that platter and spin it and with the laser and cook it?
What laser?
I think he's talking about the Blu-ray.
Maybe. Well, I don't think Blu-ray will cook anything.
Right?
I think it has to be, what, green ray or yellow ray?
I don't remember.
I think it's green ray that'll cook it.
Well, might be a stingray. I don't
know. Okay, we've gone downhill. Anyhow, but this is a really neat technology.
Well,
I really like this.
It's a neat, and you heard it on
Tech Talk Live.
There you
Talk
go.
Live with
Flipper. I'm Flipper.
I'm Snide.
And I'm JJ. Give us a call. 220-0692.
And then I found my drink.
Yeah, I found my drink.
So, let's see.
I think JJ's got stuff.
No, I just want to touch base. There's something going around on the Facebook thing there where Obama says use the internet to reach out for help. I don't think it's a bad idea.
What kind of help you're looking for?
Well, I'll debate that
for those that went through Hurricane Sandy.
Mm-hmm.
And my theory on it, this is just practically my theory on it, is with today's modern technology, majority of people have cell phones out there. The majority of people have smart cell phones out there.
Mm-hmm.
They can access the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And with some great apps, I think you can reach out to people and get your assistance that you need. And I really don't think it was a ridiculous quote by Obama, but
I did.
You want to argue? Argue the point?
Well, I don't like that, like you said here last week, we didn't get it on the air, but preparedness.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can review some of that stuff. But like I said, I'm common sense person for being prepared for anything. You know, my chainsaws are sharpened. I had power, I had gas, I had electric, I had, mixed fuel for them. I had my generator in case, the pine tree come down and took your electric out again.
You got to have an emergency prepared list.
And then we had all this food, And I always have enough food to last me at least 3 to 4 weeks in my house.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the milk might be a little short, but that's, I can get away without milk,
Yeah, well, I mean, you got canned goods, you got dry goods.
I got the food.
That's the whole thing. I mean, most families, if you really want to think about it, a smart thing is always to keep a stock of staples, rice, beans, things that are dried, things that are canned. So you got the food. As far as like the internet piece, I kind of disagree with the statement that if you have internet, reach out and get help.
And you have smartphones.
The problem,
people have smartphones
but the power
nowadays.
was down and you couldn't use the internet.
Right. If the towers, I mean, most towers now have generators. I'm more thinking if you look at Atlantic City, okay, I know Snide will disagree with me on this, but there were some areas that were underwater, okay?
Correct.
If those towers that were feeding those signals for internet were underwater or the circuits were overloaded because there were so many people trying to get help at the same time, it's kind of a catch-22 to try to reach out for help when there might not be a way to get out online. Right. So you should always have a backup plan.
Right. I also think that they wanted to do this to try to keep the cellular open as well.
Mm-hmm.
for the emergency calls because you don't want to flood all the cellular waves. Instead, use your internet, use your smartphone, reach out, send somebody a text.
Yeah.
Download an app. They've got ways to, where you can get help. If you just go to, I think I touch base with the ones I, talked about last week. The hurricane by the American Red Cross. It's got the storm tracker, how to prepare, and even, find the nearest shelter.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
based on your GPS on your phone.
Right, but the question is whether
if the towers are down or not.
If the towers are down or not, it makes whether that technology is useful or not.
Right.
The other thing that also makes this whether it's useful or not. Okay, saying if we got our car swept away, so we don't have a way to charge the phone. You don't have a way. You don't have solar to charge your phone. It's dark out. It's whatever. Right. How are you going to use that as a tool per se? To get help in those
I think
situations.
You should have an emergency preparedness list. And
then it's
once
the
the incident happens, right, you're not burning this during the incident.
Right. You're burning that after the incident to get things
Get your
going.
help, right.
Yep.
Get things going.
But I was just saying, like I said, they say, well, you got to buy water enough to last for at least drinking and whatever for
1
a
gallon
week.
per person for 72 hours.
Yeah.
72 hours.
3 days, right?
Yep.
Well, they were saying a week on one of the
on the
news
East Coast,
down
right.
in New York. But anyway, what if you lost that? Now you're out of your home. You got buried in water, you know what I mean, in the cellar or wherever it was. Now you're out of the home because water was coming in.
Yep.
Now you've lost all your stuff that you emergency prepared for.
Yeah, but the nice thing about most any like storm incidences here, which I think is really, really interesting, if you know it's coming and you know it's getting bad, you always have the option of traveling out of the area.
But why aren't you doing this per se? I'm just using once a month as an example, bringing this kind of food up or bringing that kind of water in, at least one case of water for drinking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And most of the people say, well, why do I need water? The reason you need water is because your water that comes in, most of it is, like I say, a lot of times it's well water. The power goes off, you have no way of getting water in. City water, like which we have around here, is everyone
generator and backup fed, so it's always under pressure.
They have big diesel generators at both.
But now you gotta worry about contamination. That's the only problem with that. That's why they say to get at least 3 days of water just in case.
Well, the contamination would be minor in those places anyway.
Right. Depends on what the disaster is. I mean, if you have erosion. If you have erosion like they did out in Vermont, where they lost literally hillsides and roads and piping, and once you break that sealed unit of a municipal water thing, it can get contaminated very easily.
Right. But getting back to Atlantic City, their boardwalk in front of the casinos was not injured. Like I kept saying it, I want to see the front of the casinos. Well, the casinos reopened today.
Mm-hmm.
So they're reopening for business. So apparently they only got a minor water damage in the lower floors, the lower floors of the casinos. But there was a big list of casinos that were open, and there was 5, and some aren't opening until Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Also, touch base, there's a FEMA website or app actually for your smartphones if you're able to get it that also allows you just look up Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, on your smartphone. It's both for Google, Android, and for iOS. Allows you, asks you if you're a disaster survivor, how you can apply for assistance around the web, apply for assistance by phone number, or those who have speech or disability, there's a TTY number as well. Also gives you information on disaster recovery center through the American Red Cross, and tells you how to provide, what to do before the incident, of course, as well for emergency kits as well. There's a couple of apps.
But I don't have that on my phone. I can't.
Right, you got a standard phone. I got a standard phone. JJ's got a smartphone.
He's got a technology. I got just a regular phone.
Phone.
Yeah, but you should be able to text. You should be able to text with that and get some information.
I don't have texting on mine.
I don't have texting on mine.
Step up to the plate, people. Come on.
Yeah, the whole mobile thing. I just I got my tablet. I'm good. Anyhow,
I got my phone for just emergency purposes only, that I can call somebody like 911 to get the answers.
Right. Anyhow, you remember Big Bird?
Who's Big Bird?
Big Bird from Waterloo? Yeah.
Why? What has he got now?
Well, he decided to email us this morning, and I was talking to a gentleman yesterday, and this came up. I have a pic of a stream as my backdrop. Will the moisture screw up my laptop?
Guess who put him up to that?
I have no Donna. You? Really?
I was talking with Mark over to Walmart yesterday.
Yeah.
I says, ask some stupid question like, well, I got the rainstorm. Is that going to mess up wash away my...
Anyway, we're Tech Talk Live. We're a local computer talk show up here up in upstate New York. If you want to give us a call anywhere in the United States, you can give us a call at 315-220-0692. Check us out on Facebook. I'm Flipper.
I'm Snide.
And I'm JJ.
And we're on every Saturday morning, 11 to 12. Did I mention that?
But anyway, thanks, Big
like
Bird.
us on Facebook.
Thanks, Big Bird, for putting that in there. That was good.
All right, great show, you guys. All right, we're out of here.
All right, see ya.
See ya.
You've been listening to your technology talk show. Tune in next time to Tech Talk Live.